What is up guys, and welcome back to another Classic WoW video. So today we are looking at WoW Classic Season of Mastery, and we are talking about design intentions and details. We're talking about loot and world buff details, the PvP honor system, and also what's gonna happen after WoW Classic Seasons of Mastery, like after the season itself is over, what's gonna happen to your characters. Now for those of you who haven't been paying attention, the open beta for WoW Classic Season of Mastery started, I think it's 2 or 3 days ago now, depending on when I upload this video, so it should be 2 days ago if I upload it today. So 2 days ago the open beta for Season of Mastery started, meaning that right now you, the one who's watching this, can actually go and try out Season of Mastery for yourself. It's an open beta. All you have to do is have a PTR account to actually play in the open beta. So have a PTR account, download the open beta, log in, create a character, and you can start playing. So on the WoW Classic Season of Mastery, you will have a buff giving you 25% increased experience, and Blizzard have talked about this in a Bluepost, saying that this buff only lasts from level 1 to 59, so for those of you thinking you can use quests at level 60 to get plus 25% experience, that then gets converted into gold, that's not gonna work, it's only for leveling. Blizzard has clarified this, and that's gonna happen. So aside from that though, I logged into the open beta at release, and I was really surprised to see this many people playing. It seems like this is super popular, even for a beta. Now, I think a lot of people won't play the beta and just wait until the game comes out, so seeing this many people on the open beta at release was really mind-blowing, and it really hypes me up for Season of Mastery more than I already am, and believe me, I'm hyped. So with that being said, let's just go through the recent Bluepost, talking about WoW Classic Season of Mastery design intention and details, where Blizzard pretty much clarified a lot of things that they are looking at for Season of Mastery. So here it is. We have been very pleased by the reception to our WoW Classic Season of Mastery announcement last week, and we have seen a great many questions from players about this new version of Classic WoW. With the beta now being underway, we wanted to take a moment to talk a bit about the philosophy around seasonal Classic WoW. Notice how they say seasonal WoW Classic. This is also another hint towards us actually getting several seasons, and it will be a seasonal thing. So right now we have a 12-month cadence for Season of Mastery. Afterwards we'll probably get rolled over to a stasis realm. Most likely we will get connected to the Classic Era realms, and then a new season begins with new changes. So seasonal WoW Classic. So design intentions. First, it's important to explain what the Season of Mastery is, a little of what it is not, and our overall thoughts about seasonal WoW Classic. The main goal for the Season of Mastery is to provide a WoW Classic experience that brings about faster progression and more challenging content. This is our core design pillar that speaks to many of the changes that we are testing in the beta, and you can see this reflected in adjustments such as increased quest experience, a 12-month content release cycle, and the honor system and certain battlegrounds being available from the launch of the game, aka Phase 1. We are increasing the difficulty of raid encounters, restoring raid mechanics removed in early iterations of certain encounters, and we are prohibiting the use of world buffs in side raid instances. Of course, these are just the changes that we have announced so far, and we are still reviewing feedback and suggestions from the community, which is once again where I want to refer to my previous video on WoW Classic, where I talk about the fact that your input and your feedback is incredibly important, because the open beta is to test out the changes that they have already put in place, but also to get feedback on several updates that you want to the game and new changes that haven't been implemented just yet, but you feel like you want to have in the game itself. There's certainly room to include additional adjustments if they are consistent with this season's design goals. While these are significant changes, we want to make it very clear that these adjustments are not intended to become a permanent change to all versions of WoW Classic going forward. When the Season of Mastery launches, existing Classic Era realms will remain configured as they are now. So, loot and world buff details. There have been a lot of discussions about loot, and specifically the rate at which players can get loot from raids, as we don't currently have plans to increase that. That is a big mistake if you ask me. It's a 12-month cadence, people want their gear, and with a 12-month cadence you will either have to do split trades, or you're just not gonna get all the gear you want. Part of the challenge of a Season of Mastery is the speedy arrival of content throughout the year, and this raises the notion that you may not approach every new challenge with the level of preparation that you did in Classic WoW. We feel that loot scarcity was an important part of what made original WoW challenging, and hope to recreate that feeling. Of course, we'll be watching this closely and are open to adjustments here if we identify a need. Personally, I would like to see a loot increase. Having that small loot table for a 40-man raid, and also having an accelerated cadence for the game itself, it's not gonna feel very good because you have those items from specific raids that you really want to get sometime throughout Classic, and if you don't up the loot, then some of them are just not going to drop. The issue raised by World Buff play in WoW Classic have been discussed at great length for years now. We really like the Chrono Boon Displacer as a solution to the raid log dilemma, but for the Season of Mastery, World Buffs in raids are contrary to the more challenging content, part of our game core design pillar. I agree with this. There's a truly great feeling when you get fully buffed and then race through raids to try and beat your best clear time, and we'll continue to look elsewhere for a place to bring that about again. That's probably gonna be in another season, so later on sometime. Please note that the Chrono Boon Displacer will be present and will function in Season of Mastery. You won't lose the buffs that are stored in the Chrono Boon Displacer when you zone into a raid. You will lose your buffs if you restore them from the Displacer while in a raid instance. Speaking of raids, we are quite aware of the concerns around the opening of the Gates of Ankiraj on a truncated time frame. We don't have anything specific planned for that yet, but we do have the ability to accelerate the completion of the war effort should the need arise. Good. The PvP honor system. Achieving rank 14 in OG World of Warcraft was always meant to be a prestigious accomplishment that few players obtained. We feel that maintaining that level of prestige is important, and we have got to consider how it will play out with the honor system active from the moment Season of Mastery launches. This is especially difficult considering how powerful the honor gear is for many classes. We have read many great suggestions from players on how we could improve the system, and we are currently discussing what we could do to fit our goals for Season of Mastery. Please keep your feedback coming. Personally, with the honor system, I would more so like to see a retailer-like or TBC-like honor system where you have a pretty much rated PvP, and you could get rank 14 based on rating, instead of just grinding to rank 14, putting in time effort. But then again, with fewer players probably playing Season of Mastery than OG Classic WoW, it's probably going to be a little bit easier to get rank 14, so it could be doable a little bit faster this time around, and without actually leaving your wife and quitting your job and pretty much playing the game 24/7. But yeah, achieving rank 14 could be doable, but there's still a specific time frame. You have to grind for this many weeks to actually get promoted to rank 14. Now, looking forward, even though we have just gotten started with the beta, many players want to know what might happen after the 12-month schedule is completed. While we don't have specifics to share right now, we are currently exploring all of our options, especially when it comes to allowing characters to persist in some way when the season ends. We will let you know. So for this, there's pretty much two things they can do, and that is to keep WoW Classic Season of Mastery as a stasis realm, and then open new realms for another season, or your Classic Season of Mastery characters can get ported over to Classic Era, whereas Classic Era would be that stasis realm, where whenever a season ends, all of your characters on that season get ported over to Classic Era. Okay, and I think that's pretty much it, guys. That is all of the news we have right now for WoW Classic Season of Mastery. That is a Bluepost. We have the open beta right now. You can go and play it for yourself, feel out the changes, and make sure you give feedback to Blizzard about the changes that are already in place, and also talking about changes that you want to see in the game itself. That is pretty much it though. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like, leave a sub. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again very soon.